What does legacy mean to you, Amma?
It has been a life well lived.
Your idea of what a strong woman looks like.
I have grown up living with a single mother. The way I look at women is totally different.
I didn't want to be just a career person. I want children, I want a family.
I'm not going to go into the cliche of Badi Amma swimwear, filmfare cover or anything like that. Yeah, you should.
There's a phrase called mansplaining.
I walked into a room full of men and they didn't get up for me, or they ignored me, or they just looked at me peculiarly, made me feel uncomfortable.
I was the girl who was 96 kgs who said, I want to be a heroine.
Idea that you blend tradition with modernity. It's a balance.
I like traveling everywhere. That includes Ujjain and that includes the Maldives.
We will move on to the most searched word, which was?
Nepotism.
Nepotism.
My successes and my failures are my successes and my failures.
Why are you not on Instagram, Amma?
I think, Badi Amma, you like doing some nice item songs just for fun of yours and ours and everybody else's.
So who's more likely to steal the last piece of dessert and then pretend it wasn't them? I was going to say Sara. And then you hid like the whole cake in your room as well. Forget about the last slice. We would play something called generational lingo.
Ghosting?
Scrub.
Where?
Fly.
That's not a word.
That's not a word.
What? What does legacy mean? So when we think about legacy, we think of a family tree, we think of a gold necklace, we think of an old photo album. But what about those invisible things like values, choices? What can we pass on? What should maybe evolve? How do we honor the past whilst yet keeping pace with the future? Take my family, for instance. I think that it's fair to say that we are well known. And I have been stopped in the street many times. And people have said, oh my God, I'm such a huge fan of your mother, your father, your brother, your sister-in-law, your daughter, your nephew, your husband. Occasionally, it is also you, me. But a huge part, I think, of my identity is inherited fame, perhaps reflected glory. But I would like to think that I'm seeking out my own unique destiny. Aren't we all? And that is what today's episode is about, legacy. What gets passed on, what evolves, and what each generation chooses to make of it. Hello and welcome to All About Her, a space where we have honest and meaningful conversations about women's health, wellness, happiness, and self-care. So today's episode is very special to me because I'm joined by two women that I love deeply and admire greatly. And together we are three generations of women, connected by blood, but molded perhaps by very different worlds. Firstly, I want to introduce my Amma, Sharmila Tagore, to you. She's known as one of the most iconic actors in this country, a living legend. But at home, she's known for her aesthetic eye. She is known for being more updated on the socio-political climate, not just of the neighborhood, but I think of the entire country. And she has a sharp eye for detail. I think you know when I've plucked that one extra eyebrow even, especially after your cataract surgery. And then there's my niece, Sara Ali Khan. She is sharp, she's honest, she's witty, and I think that she has a fascinating approach to mixing tradition with modernity. From poetry to paparazzi, she manages both and life beautifully. So here we are, a grandmother, a mother, a granddaughter, sitting down to a conversation about where we come from and where we are all going. And thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Swati.
So my first question is actually for Amma, because this show is about legacy and values and things we perhaps inherit and want to pass down and really who we are and how we're shaped. What does legacy mean to you, Amma?
The moment you say the word legacy, you feel that it's, think of somebody, a person, and you feel that it has been a life well lived. Mm-hmm. That's why that person has left that kind of legacy.
Do you ever feel the pressure before, of course, from a very young age you became famous and a well-known name.
Okay.
But did you ever feel the pressure growing up of belonging to the Tagore lineage, the need perhaps to prove yourself or make something of your life?
No, it wasn't a pressure, it was a privilege. It was something that made me feel very, something that you belong to, something which you don't even understand. It was part of history. Not feeling, proud or anything, but feeling very humbled and but aware of the privilege anyway.
Yeah. Sara, I have to ask you, do you remember one moment when you realized you belonged to a family that is well known?
I think always. I think I've, like Badi Amma said, without it being, pressurizing dagger, it was something that one was kind of always aware of. Sarkar Abba playing cricket, Badi Amma being an actor, both my parents being actors. I think that I grew up in a house that echoed responsibility. And as a result of that, there's been a lot of, I think, collective goodwill that our family has kind of gathered over generations. So for me, more than anything else, I think I'm just lucky and blessed to be born in a family where, of course, the goodwill is something that's in the public domain, but I think the values that one has inherited from our family of being able to, wear our responsibilities with awareness, but also not let it get to our head. I think that's something. So yes, I always knew that, people in our family are famous or important, but what I was most humbled by was that I only ever met my grandfather in a lungi. That is for me what I think is amazing. And I've seen Badi Amma in these saris when the camera's rolling, but otherwise I've seen her in nighties and kaftans also.
Yes.
So yes, I think that there's a beautiful play between a famous family but a very, very normal family. And I think I'm very aware of both these sides.
I wanted to ask if there's one thing, Amma, that you may have learnt from Sarabia. And Sarabia, one thing that you may have learned from Amma, because I feel like from you've taught by example, not by sitting down and saying, na beta aisa karte hain. I've just watched you go to work. I've watched you be in many places, wear many hats. I've seen you enjoying coming to PTA meetings, being present in my...
Not Abba's PTA meetings. Behavior was discussed for sure.
But I mean...
Not those.
No, I did.
Reading his reports.
Met Mrs. Menezes or
You've cancelled it out, Badi Amma, because of the trauma. Let's talk about Soha teachers.
In Cathedral, I and Maureen Wadia were a constant visitor there.
This is Nes Wadia's mother?
Nes Wadia's mother.
Achha.
But Nes Wadia, of course, went one step further. I don't know whether you'll be able to keep it in your body.
We'll decide later. We'll ask people whether we're allowed to keep it or
He
not.
would say, I'm the trustee's son. You can't do anything to me.
And Bhai?
And Bhai was a little more head-bent and more apologetic.
And he would get into trouble.
Yeah.
And then you and Abba would both go to school?
No, I went. Abba never went. Yeah.
Now, of course, modern parenting will come to different hands-on fathers and how the roles are changing. But one thing that you've learned from Sarabia, and then I'll come to you.
I found her very spontaneous, very friendly without being over-friendly, but she was welcoming and extremely witty. Like she would, all her lovely,
Instagram captions?
Yes.
Limericks.
Limericks. Aren't the limericks anymore?
I'm not sure.
Isn't limericks like once there was a girl from something?
Yeah, but Badi Amma finds my rhyming limericks.
Poetry.
Like
Let's call it poetry.
Well, whatever, but she's so good. So, it's all her. And the way she conducts herself, so professionally. I've seen her on film set, right? And very nice. So I'm very proud and very happy that despite having, coming from an actor's family, she is so down to earth and so well behaved.
And one thing you've learned from Amma?
I think I've learned that dignity and grace above all else, even in the hardest of times. I think we've, as a family, been through quite a lot together, especially earlier this year with Abba and everything. But I think just holding herself together and not letting that go, I think that's something.
Yeah.
I think that Badi Amma has always been very, very dignified. And that's something I really aspire to be able to inculcate in life.
I think we have lots of examples of strength within the family. Of course, now many wonderful role models through history outside of the family as well. But I wanted to ask you, Amma, what does a strong woman look like to you? And to understand whether that definition of strength has changed perhaps over time. But when you were growing up, what did a strong woman, when you thought of a strong woman, what did you think of? And who perhaps shaped that idea of what is a strong woman?
Well, at home, I grew up in a joint family. And my parents sent me to grandparents because my father had a transferable job. So they were going, moving from one place to another. So for the sake of school and stability, I was growing up in my grandparents' house, and my aunt looked after me. She's the one who introduced me to arts, and that time there was a children's little theatre. That's another story, it'll take a long time. But this person started this group from 6 to 12 years old. And we went all over India, like Delhi, and I was living in Kolkata and Bombay, and we performed sometimes 2 shows a day. So that was a great kind of introduction. And then to performative art. And then I went to, she took me to a dancing school and introduced me to various things. So that started early. And then, of course, living in joint family, everybody was doing lots of things. People were singing, talking, debating, chatting, Mohan Bagan, East Bagan, all those. So there was lots of conversation and disagreement. So it was a wonderful. So my grandmother controlled the atmosphere. She was like, dealt with all this chaotic whatever and brought some semblance of order there. So she was, to me, the most, the strongest person. Yeah. And my aunt, who didn't get married, but she was doing so many other things. And she was stepping outside of the house to do something. But my grandmother, she didn't have English. She wore the sari in a Bengali way, but she didn't feel less than anybody. She was talking to my friends in English, knowing perfectly, she was talking to my friends in Bengali, not having any doubt that they will understand her. And they did, So that kind of confidence and accepting my working when I joined films, she was, accepting that because it's not really the done thing from a good family. My marrying Tiger. So she was a very strong and free-thinking person, to me, she was my epitome of the best person ever.
I wonder if now with, there's so much scrutiny, there's so much commenting on how we behave and what we do and what the right way to behave is. With all of that in mind, your idea of what it means to be a role model or to be a strong woman, which presumably is what we aspire to be, your idea of what a strong woman looks like and who those inspirations have been.
I think for me, when I think of a strong woman, it's somebody that isn't afraid to have a voice, and I think, of course, society has evolved, things have changed, maybe women have become more free. But more than anything, I think that it starts from within. I think your ability to emancipate yourself, your ability to just stand for what you believe in, and your ability to stand up for yourself is, I think, strength. That's, for me, what a strong woman is. I think somebody that just believes in herself and fights up for herself.
Have you ever had to do that, stand up for yourself or fight for something that matters to you?
I've always had a voice, and I've never had to shut my voice down. You know what I'm saying? Like, even growing up at home, questions, opinions, these things were always welcomed. So I actually don't know what it's like to not even have a voice, which is not to say that there is a large section of people, women in society that maybe don't.
Right.
And honestly, just kudos to them for being able to fight and live and grow in a world that might not always support it, because I am extremely cognizant of the fact that when people talk about the privilege that we maybe come from, I think the largest privilege is that you have a brother and I have a brother, and I don't think we grew up with like them getting the better chicken.
Yeah. No.
And I think that is where our privilege maybe begins.
Yeah.
Because we've grown up in a place, maybe because we've both had working mothers that have been actors, but that aside, like, I've never had to silence myself.
Yeah.
So I'm actually just really grateful for that, and I think I understand even more how important that is. And like I said,
But we didn't even have a brother. There were
I know.
3 of us. There were 3 daughters my parents had, and we never felt that they lacked anything.
So
or
like,
they wanted
Dada
a son.
never said that,
No,
oh,
and he
we
said
want a
that
son.
my daughters are like, I mean...
Equivalent.
Yes, and what can a son do that my daughters can't do?
Which is, I mean, I'm saying way back then.
Way back then. Yeah.
Not so way back
So
then.
not
way back
at
then.
all. I mean, there was no discrimination at all.
But you know, so much of how we are shaped and what we wear lightly on our shoulders comes from that atmosphere at home and what we watch, you know, the dynamics between our parents, how our fathers are, especially I think really shape us perhaps as daughters. You know, and I see that also with Inaya and with Kunal. But I wanted to ask you then going forward when you come out of the house and you go into a world, especially in the 60s, people say that the world today is still very male dominated in public spaces. Whether it's films, now things are changing, perhaps in front of the camera, a little bit behind the camera, but still representation is something we're talking about. We still talk about women films, and this is a woman-centric film.
Yeah.
So for you, in the 60s, did you ever find yourself in a room full of men where you had to prove yourself as a woman?
My first director was Shakti Samanta. The first first producer was Shakti Samanta. So there was that Bengali connection again. The writer was Sachin Bhaumik. So that safety net was there, you know. They were very good to me. So I never really felt walking in somewhere and being judged or being sussed out. I didn't have any uncomfortable feeling like that, you know. So I cannot say that I've had any uncomfortable moments like that, you know, where I felt that I walked into a room full of men and they didn't get up for me, or they ignored me, or they just looked at me peculiarly, you know, made me feel uncomfortable.
But it may not be as obvious as that, sorry to interrupt, but you know, like today, there's a phrase called mansplaining, where you're just made aware. I mean, sometimes people sort of might dismiss you as a woman, feeling that, oh, this needs to be explained because this may not be your area of expertise. And now women are slowly, and I'll ask Sara about that, finding their voices in terms of saying that, you know,
but
this
if
is...
I may say it here, that I hear you, but I wasn't really aware of this man, woman, you know, how I have to fight for my rights. It sort of came to me and I expected it. I didn't feel that if they didn't talk to me immediately that I should be insulted. Because I had, I suppose, enough self-confidence. I didn't feel that. Nobody's ever made me feel like that. So I wasn't looking for it.
Right.
You know, I wasn't so aware that I might be pushed aside as a woman. I don't have those recollections. Yeah.
Mansplaining ever happened?
I'm sure it has, but like Badi Amma is saying, I think it's as much weightage as you give it. I think that it's not to say that what exists outside doesn't, but I really feel, at the risk of sounding semi-pseudo, that you only really find what you're looking for. And if you walk into a room confident, at least I've been lucky, as is Badi Amma, I think, that if you walk into a room with a certain degree of confidence, it doesn't land up happening as much. So actually, I truly, like I said earlier, I feel that you just have to derive your own strength yourself. In a world where you are aware that this does happen, it's not like mansplaining is not a thing.
Right.
It's not like I feel we don't live in a male-dominated world. Maybe we do. But it's as seriously as you take it. Women have their own role to play in society. Women have a very important role to play in society. I have grown up living with a single mother. So the way I look at women is totally different also, you know.
What do you mean by that?
For me, like for instance, you know, there's maybe to some degree, you know, women are the softer gender or, you know, men are the provider. But growing up at home, it wasn't like that. For me, my mom was doing it all. Right. So that bifurcation is not in my memory at all.
Right.
Really, कि ये आदमी का काम है या औरत का काम है. In fact, both of you know that mom's not the best cook. So, you know, औरत का काम is not something that mom does.
I fully understand that.
Exactly. Like, you know, have you ever even had mom make a coffee? Probably not. So
have you tried my coffee? I see you're not really trying it.
It's delicious. No, but I, like I said, you know, honestly, without making light of these things that are very tangible, palpable problems for maybe other people, I don't think I've had to
navigate those
or navigate these
and
issues.
I think
really.
again my vision also of that whole father being the provider. I think, but also Abba being a professional athlete had retired by the time we were born.
Right.
So he was at home, you know.
And Badi Amma was working.
And Amma was at work. And we sort of just accepted that. And Amma was the one who told me that, you know, now that you have a child, when you go to work, you know, make sure that she says, you know, I wish you 10 on 10.
Yes,
Like,
I taught them to do that. So when I went to work, I said, wish me 10 on 10. So that, you know, you attach some sort of importance to a woman's work, you know. Because the woman who leaves her child behind and goes to work is frowned upon. Like you think that, oh, she's not taking care of the children,
Right.
you know. So I wanted them to appreciate my work. So they understood this 10 on 10. Even the ads say, you see when a girl gets married, a VIP suitcase comes home. And, when a man gets married, it comes home. And when a girl gets married, it goes out of the house. So, and you say what? Insurance for, what do they say? Save money for marriage of your daughter and for
Yes.
son's education.
Yes.
So that sort of thing still continues.
that lens of how
That
you
lens
view
of,
a daughter,
view, yeah.
not as, yeah.
It's expense.
As an expense.
It's somehow expenses are involved with daughter, whereas gain is involved with her. So all these ads also reinforce
And perpetuate that
yes.
thought.
So all these gadgets and things or cars are men. You won't find a woman driving that car.
I want to come to the role of the media
Yeah.
in all of this later, especially with the films that both of you have done. And but before that, I feel like in my 40s now that I am more comfortable being myself. Like I'm not apologetic about the fact that I don't want to stay out late or that I don't want to go to a certain social gathering or that, you know, whatever the choices that I make. I feel like I can say with a sense of comfort that this is who I am, whether you accept me or not. I feel like that's come into my 40s. I don't know why at this stage. Perhaps at this stage you start prioritizing a little bit more what matters to you and what doesn't. Maybe you only have that much energy. I wanted to ask you, Amma, firstly, since you're a little bit ahead, do you feel
Older.
yeah, in time. I feel like you use your words now, that you speak up, not just for what you believe in, but for other people. I don't know whether that comes from age or whether it comes from, where do you find more empowerment? In your gender today or because of your age? Is it the changing evolution of the woman or is it because you're a little bit older?
If you mean age, if you mean age as learning over the years, what I've experienced and what has changed my mind. So I would say education. Education empowers. And that is what, education doesn't have to be going to a university, but learning from each other for experiencing it, imbibing it, forming an argument and then presenting it, you know, articulating it, speaking up, and create this sisterhood, you know, talk to each other. So all the time if you talk to each other, you do reach out to people and you do inspire. A lot of people come and ask me like, how did you manage to raise 3 kids and how did you manage to work? Because I wanted to. I wanted to do it. I didn't want to be just a career person. I came back home once and everything was silent. I said, oh God, I want children, I want a family. I most certainly didn't want to be only a career person. There are people, and why not? But I wanted that, so I worked towards it, and things helped out, Everybody, I had these wonderful, there was Lata on the 7th floor, there was Bapa on the 6th floor, across the road was Surita Goswami and Jatin Goswami, Uncle Wilson, and Saif was Dennis the Menace. So they took him out everywhere. So there were, there's so many of us was involved in raising that child.
Yeah. If there was one part of womanhood for you, this era of womanhood, that you want Amma to experience, what would that be? And I want to come to you after that in terms of something perhaps from the 60s or even younger, 50s or 70s, that you would want, that you miss perhaps, or that you would like Sara to experience, if only for a day, or me?
Badi Amma, we were talking about this before the beginning of our podcast, before Badi Amma walked in. I think that Badi Amma has never really adhered to any kind of constricting anything.
Yeah.
So I think Badi Amma was maybe the first to experience it. And I'm not going to go into the cliche of Badi Amma's, swimwear in the, filmfare cover or anything like that.
I
On
might.
the filmfare cover. Yeah,
I might.
you should, because that's where, that's a woman expressing herself freely without caring about judgment. And I think that when you talk about strength of women, the role of society versus what's inside, it comes from having to free yourself from the judgment. I think society, of course, has to maybe celebrate and enable women. And when I say society, I mean women more than anything.
Yeah.
It's women that can maybe create the safe space for the other women. But it's up to you yourself to just be liberated and not fall for those confinements. I'm sure there were people that said, how could you do this? Weren't there people that maybe questioned how you did that film fair
And I'm
shoot?
thinking of unconventional choices like joining films early, like getting married outside of, an inter-religious marriage, doing the bikini shoot.
Continuing to work after having children.
Having children at a young age, even from a professional perspective. They're saying, what is that going to mean for your career?
Professional harakiri.
Yeah. So I actually think Badi Amma has experienced it all. And I don't think that there's anything like...
But were there any voices in your head that made you second guess these things, or...?
No, because I wanted to do it. I wanted to have children, and I wanted to not give up films. But yes, I gave up quite a few films which went on to become big. You can't have can't have your cake and eat it too.
Is there one film that you think about and you're like, oh, I wish I could have done that?
Oh, many, like Kati Patang I gave up, Khilona I gave up, Tere Mere Sapne I gave up. They all became very big hits because I wanted to have a child. Caravan became a very big hit. But I was happy with, after that I signed Amar Prem. I did other films. So it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I wanted to be in films, but not necessarily, because I followed my body clock. I felt this is the time to get married and this is the time to have child.
Well, looking at you now.
Why are you?
I'm just looking at my own clock.
Do you have a clock?
I don't know. Yeah, the clock is working.
Where are you?
Where's
your body clock at?
I'm so much older than both of you. So this would maybe
but
the clock was
grandmother and mother.
Yeah, so the clock was different maybe at that point. Yes, but now you can.
No, we're
so
still
much.
living in the same kind of clock technology. Yeah.
So you know more about that. But I'm just talking about what I felt. And I did it. I mean, I acted on what my inner impulse was. So I don't regret it. I mean, I know I could have been, after Aradhna, had I followed it up 3 more hits, which all these 3 films were that I mentioned, and more. Then maybe I could have consolidated my position. I could have had my child 2 years later. Nothing earth-shakingly different might have happened. But I just felt at that moment that I should have a child. Maybe, 70s, Tiger lost his captaincy. So many things happened in the family, good and bad. So maybe I took a decision based on many things.
Yes, but you had that inner voice. And
inner voice.
Listened
and
to
I
that
listened to that, yes. I didn't prioritize one thing over the other.
And I think for so many people, I feel like when we'll come to work-life balance, is that idea that we want to be able to do it all. And maybe the lesson is that we can't really do it all at the same time.
No.
And there may be times when you have to make choices, and that's okay also.
But that's where your partner has to help you a little bit. Your partner must understand and be supportive, because our working hours are not like your working hours. The money was not in place. We were working in 4 or 5 films at the same time.
I don't know what you mean your working hours, because you had a very recent film release. So it is still your working hours.
All right, okay. Okay, so, but then things were very different. So the money wasn't in place. We were working in 4 or 5 films at a time. We've had 2 films on the same day, one with sort of nail polish. And
then you're changing the nail
and
polish
then you're
color.
sort of back to Mausam type of character. And quite, sort of 2 to 10 we were shooting Mausam. In the daytime we were shooting Farrar. So, it was like, it was not ideal the way we worked. And the studios and the kind of salaries you get. So everything was completely different. But we did it for the love of it,
I have to ask you, because there was a reference to the clock, in terms of, do you have an inner voice that you listen to, and sometimes in the face of other voices? And what are those other voices that sometimes make you say, no, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm choosing right now. It doesn't matter. I mean, I take into consideration because you may not be dismissive of those voices. But you're saying, I hear what you're saying, but this is what I want to do right now.
You know, I think that when Badi Amma talks about having an inner voice, I think we all have an inner voice. But in today's day and age, social media has become such an integral part of all our lives, even though we try to avoid it. At least I try to, use it just for like fun or work, but not try to, derive too much importance
and meaning,
and meaning from it. But the truth is that there are just more voices and faceless voices.
Yeah.
So I think that it's now even more important than ever before to just remember कि आपकी आवाज़ क्या है, because there'll always be 30,000 things. Are you good enough? Is this the way it should be? It could also be this. I also think that there's so many choices now about little things, small things like, where you want to order the coffee from, in that example. But I'm just saying, there's so many options, there's so much chatter, so many opinions, that I think it's even more important now to kind of shut your eyes, sit with yourself, meditate, and find what do you want.
Right.
Because life is really short and you don't want to make important decisions, as knee-jerk reactions or informed by other people's opinions or your insecurities. It's just very important to kind of find that therav and sthirta and be like, this is what I want to do. And yes, it is difficult.
But tell me, in that, because you arrived there, a lot of people arrived there, but in that journey, has there been something that has helped you arrive there, or have you always been this?
I'm not there, Soha.
Okay.
I'm not there. Every day is a new day. Because every day there are voices that are like, should you do this, should you do that? But you have to remind yourself of who you are. I was the girl who was like 96 kgs who said, I want to be a heroine.
Yeah.
In Columbia University, So I have to remind myself of the strength that I have, because it's easy to forget, And I think that that's another part of, having a decent social media following or whatever that helps me.
Yeah.
People talk to me about, how you talk about all these things so easily, so openly. Where do you get the strength from? I'm like, doing it makes me feel strong. Because if on a weekday, if on an anxious day, I'm having a conversation, there's even one girl out there who's like, Arey yaar, she's an actor, but she still feels this way. Or, she comes from such a loving family, but she still feels this way. It's normal to go through these things.
So you're reading the comments?
Not all of them. Not all of them. But I think I'm aware of what's being said, but I don't get as affected by it. But again, there are days where I can, But it's important to remember that, listen, this is who I am. And it's also important to kind of give those people a little bit of perspective. Like, who must they be? I've started looking at it from almost, not pity sounds condescending, but a little bit of understanding. That
empathy.
Like maybe they're in a bad place, man. Maybe she had a bad fight with her friend. And
misplaced.
She's angry and it's misplaced, So you have to just ignore it a little bit, is what I feel.
Yeah. Do you feel as a role model the pressure to do it all? Or to be, to always look like you're on top of things, especially when it comes to this work-life balance, in terms of, being a good daughter, being a good sister, which you are at all these things, being a good actor, being present at all these moments and being able to juggle everything, later marriage, whatever, if you choose to. But I'm saying all these things, do you feel the pressure?
No, not really, because these are all things I enjoy doing. I love being a daughter, I love being a sister, I love being an actor. And I think that I'm not there yet. I'm not at either of, you guys' life where really juggling or balancing or anything has really been there. The only thing to kind of balance, if at all, is what you want to do versus what's expected of you. And I think that there needs to be a balance between these things. I am aware that there are eyes on me, and that helps me also, like I said, if I can make a girl feel more confident, I'll do that. If I can, and that helps me.
Yes.
That's what it is,
Yeah. And forming those connections, I think, in sometimes the most unusual places.
Yes.
Why are you not on Instagram, Amma?
I know Sara told me lots about, I was quite unaware of social media.
And lots of people now in later part of their lives are joining Instagram.
Yeah, I'm not digitally very savvy. And perhaps I haven't bothered to learn. I'm sure I can learn and do this. And again, without meaning any disrespect or any comment whatsoever. But I'm just saying that I'm just can't devote that kind of time, because it's sort of a daily commitment, or maybe, I don't know, twice a day you have to do something. So it's like you two have to think about it, to pay that kind of attention. I mean, I'd rather write a book, or do something else which would be more meaningful to me. But, and to be in touch with so many people, I mean, I don't know, it's a commitment.
How do you find out when I've posted an unflattering picture of yourself on Instagram?
She has friends.
How do you know?
They send it to me, or you send it to me, perhaps.
Maybe, sometimes, yeah.
Badi Amma has friends across
She's
all
always like,
ages.
why have you posted this picture of me?
One has to be so careful,
Yes.
because there's a camera, there's always, and I'm living with her, like waking up and
But
whatever.
I'm not so
And
bad.
then she's just taking these random pictures. There's one photograph that I'm tying her sari. She said, will you tie my sari? And I said, yes, of course.
So nice.
I tied her sari, just doing this and
Take
doing
that
that.
out. Such a nice representation. You're so grateful I took this picture, because it reminds the world, firstly, this dying art of being able to tie a sari, because they now come pre-tied, that you can still do that, and that we have this close bond.
I was most unhappy with that photograph.
You thought it was an unflattering angle,
I
perhaps.
was looking like nothing on earth, yes.
Yeah.
That's better.
But people said you're so real, and so nobody wants to look real. If Badi Amma were to come on Instagram, what kind of content do you think she should post? Apart from gardening, which you're very passionate about.
Yeah. Expectation would be what?
Yes, what is the expectation?
I can't even imagine Badi Amma on Instagram.
Giving advice to people.
Yeah, maybe. yeah, maybe.
Oh yes, she's giving. If you go to the gym with her, she'll tell the trainer how to do the exercise better. If you come to the
Advice,
floral
why not?
arrangement, when we went looking for a house, I remember, in Mumbai, like the real estate agent will tell you about carpet area, about, I don't know, other things, about the prices, most importantly, of course, that's very relevant. And Amma saying, what is the name of this tree? And what is the name of this flower? And
I think
they're
Badi Amma doing old songs would also be amazing.
Yes.
I think Badi Amma, you like doing some nice item songs just for fun of yours and ours and everybody else's. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Why
now
not?
shall we move on?
Before we make you start shooting it.
Okay, we will move on to the most searched word, I think, in 2020, which was
Nepotism.
nepotism. I think that
2020 it was.
2020 it was, no, and that. Anyway, I want to refer to what made me think of it, but yes, or who. What is the difference really, Amma, between nepotism and legacy? And my idea is that if nepotism is just putting in a good word for somebody you care for, helping, passing down certain talents, certain passions, which also happens, I think, organically in a family, or people that you're close to. They say passion comes from proximity. Then it happens in other fields as well, whether it's doctors or dentists or business families, lawyers. So what is your take on nepotism? What is the difference perhaps in your mind between nepotism and legacy?
Now Inaya is growing up with you, and she's seeing you getting ready, you're doing a podcast, she's interested. So she's seeing, it's obviously she's getting influenced.
Yes.
It's like everybody does. Like you mentioned, doctors' children, lawyers' children, painters' children, so they, sitarist or music. So they all look up to their parents and they want to emulate them, right? There's nothing wrong with that. If you call it nepotism, maybe a producer doesn't have to spend a lot of money in advertising. He can say so-and-so's son, so-and-so's daughter, so it's already a little well known. But after the first film, nobody can push that person, know. Then it's up to the, the audience. If the audience rejects you or is critical of you, then I don't think, you have a chance. Maybe you can still be pushed if that person is big enough, maybe I'm very ill-informed about this. But I don't think it really would take him further than that, would it?
No, I think you're right in that access doesn't equal to success necessarily, but sometimes even just getting
But that
foot in the
really
door.
works both ways, because the producer is also taking that chance, and that particular film will be viewed because they're watching somebody's son or somebody's daughter. So the producer is also equally invested in this.
Right.
Yeah.
At some point they were called nepo babies. At some point now there's some insider, outsider kind of lingo that is used. How do you take that? Do you react? Do you not react? What do you think about the idea of? Because I've seen you growing up. I've seen you speak so many languages when you were young. You know, whether it was Marathi or Gujarati, she would spontaneously break out into languages, into outfits. You enjoyed performing from a very young age. So when you say you were at Columbia and you decided you wanted to be an actor, maybe you were aware that there was a passion from earlier on. That, you know, maybe like me, I tried not to do that for a very long time. And then I thought, okay, a lot of people think I'm taking the easy path, and I don't want people to think that, but ultimately I have to listen to that inner voice and what makes me happy. Were you aware that this is something you enjoyed from a young age? Did you try and expose yourself to other things? Or did you just take for granted that I'm going to be an actor when I grow up? And when you joined films, and now that you are in films, and with all the scrutiny that you're subject to, and with this language like Nepo baby, Nepo kid, how do you take that?
Okay, so firstly, when I went to Columbia, the first year and a half, I really didn't think I would come back to act. I was like, oh, should I do pre-law? But then I'll need to, you know, study again here because the laws are different. And how, you know, what should I do? Okay, maybe I should just do history and political science, because I enjoy doing history and political science. So I was very nerdy, and I enjoyed my studies thoroughly without thinking that there was going to be an acting kind of situation. Then I did a theatre class in New York only at Columbia. And I really enjoyed it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, this is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this idea of like being able to like express myself on stage. This is great. And then I also had this inner voice, and I was like, you know what? I want to be able to give this a shot.
Right.
And like you said earlier, like access doesn't mean success. And I think I've many, many times acknowledged the ease or the privilege of access that being from the family that I come from entails. I've also said this before, and I'll repeat myself. I'm so proud of what my grandparents, parents, everybody's achieved, but I didn't ask to be born into this family.
Yeah.
And I cannot be apologizing for it either.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, oh, I'm so sorry, my father's famous. No.
Right.
You know, but I'm also very aware of the fact that I'll get a first film. Okay, fine, I'll get a second film. But if I'm doing my 11th film now, it's not because of what my parents may have done decades ago or even yesterday.
Yes.
I think that our audiences are much, much smarter than that. And we do what we do for the audiences. And we say, na Janta Janardhan, for what reason?
Yes.
If the audience doesn't accept you, I don't think that there's room and space for anything beyond that. And I think I was very, very lucky from Kedarnath onwards only that I got that kind of love from my audiences. Not all the time. I've disappointed them, I've made them happy again, but I truly feel that I have a one-on-one equation with my audiences now. So yeah, I mean, I did get easy access maybe, but I think thereafter my successes and my failures are my successes and my failures. And I, you know, as long as the audience continues to give me opportunities to entertain them, I'll continue to do that.
Do you ever critique our performances? I mean, I know the answer already, but but do you critique our performances? I don't think that Sara, you and I can critique Amma's performance.
No, we shot a Mama Earth ad once, and I just said,
"Did you give
hold
her-
it like this?" That's it. That was the extent of my critique. That was it.
You corrected me on something. I
No,
can't remember.
just holding the bottle. I was
Bottle,
like, this
okay,
is cooler. That's all.
Hold it like this, like with a slight angle.
Now she's criticizing me, no, that you don't know how to hold a bottle. So that's
No,
the
no.
kind of...
For the ad, the purpose of the ad, you were like, I'll see the bottle. And
Also,
you
I
went
feel
on.
like, you know, when we do ads, I feel like some people wouldn't know how to tell you how to hold a bottle, and we're standing next to you, and perhaps we have
They're
that
like,
comfort
how
level,
to tell
like how to
Sharmila
tell
ji.
Sharmila
I was
how
like,
to
what do
hold
you
the
mean?
bottle.
No, that was okay. I mean, who's bothered about? I mean, she's been very nice. I loved working with her. Really, it has been such fun. Except one day you came a bit late.
Which day?
I don't know, you were wearing something that later was told that it's cord, but it looked like a sleeping suit.
Like a pajama
I
set.
don't know what we're talking about.
It's a cord. It looks, some people
When we
I
mistake
think this was
Mama-
dinner at Abba's house where I showed up in a night suit a little
we did
late.
that,
Everybody
Mama.
was confused.
What a nice cord.
No, I love working with her. She's very good. We've done a couple of
We'll do
ads
more,
together.
hopefully.
That'll be good.
You can reach out to their managers, just in the caption below. If you were to debut this year, what kind of role would you like to choose, and what story would you definitely give a pass to?
But nowadays women are getting such wonderful roles. In our time, we just got very VP, hand-wringing, helpless kind of roles. Aradhna was so much of crying. Now you're getting such wonderful roles, from Piku to Kahani. I mean, okay, that's this Lapata ladies. I mean, all the women were so good. So I think you're getting wonderful roles.
What kind of role would you pass?
Oh God, I worked in such frivolous, glamorous, stamping my foot and saying, shut up, and that kind of thing. Because I during COVID, I saw all my, the sort of good, bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
And there were quite a few films like that. So most certainly pass those films.
If you had to rewrite a role that you've done, I mean, you've also, now it's been how many years? 10 years.
No, not years. Films. Years, how many?
It's been 7 years, okay. But things change quickly.
Right.
If you had to rewrite a role from a film that you've done, do you think you could do that? Would you want to do that?
No, but I would want to maybe do Atrangi Re again. Because I remember Anandji telling me also, he was like, this is the kind of film that every 3 years you'll feel like I could have done more with, I think that was one of my favorite sets to have been on. I think I would like to maybe just do that again.
And experience that all over again.
Yeah. I like that film, yes.
Is there a role of yours that you would like to rewrite and perhaps modernize, contemporize? Do you feel that it was too dated?
No, I could have, but you see, like Amar Prem, for instance, if the woman had become a very successful singer, the film wouldn't have run. But the fact that she didn't, everybody sympathized with her. So that kind of film was popular then, and it did very well. So nowadays, like I would love to do films like Piku, Kahani, Sherni. They were very, very good films, right? I mean, the concept that a woman can earn and look after the father, nobody would have believed it then. Yeah. But now that was a very convincing film.
Yes.
So today, the way people are thinking and doing films are wonderful. I mean, I would have loved to have been part of that.
I want to come a little bit to parenting, which is, again, something that you know so much about because it touches your life every day.
Yes.
I feel also because every time Amma comes to Mumbai, she stays with me. And then I feel I feel sort of this is the time where she might judge me as a parent. She's parented 3 children. And I think I tell Inaya now, just read a book in front of Amma, even if you don't want to, or, show Amma you've learned all this, or if she loses her cool or has a tantrum, I'm like, why does it have to happen now? Why couldn't she's been so good for the past 10 days and, Amma's arrived today. So I feel like as parents in today's world, we take it very seriously. And again, we absorb so much from other people's opinions and all the time. So I feel, and I may be wrong, that it was more relaxed in your time. Your approach to so many things, including parenting. And because it's such an important part of my life, I wanted to ask you whether that's true and what you think of sort of modern parents like me today.
I have a lot of respect for, but the difference was that we had a lot of parental support. We reached out to mother-in-laws and mothers and aunts and people who've had children before. I saw you being a mother, like you, and you were consulting books and people of your own age group.
Yes. So
that what I found was different from us. Yes. Other than that, I can't fault you. I mean, they call what do they call some people helicopter mothers or something. But I don't think you are like that. I met your friends with children. They're like that, but they are involved. You find time, and I can see that you're a very good parent. You and Kunal both are very good parents, and so is your father. Saif has been an excellent. I'm with you. I've seen him with you. Of course, they used to, if they had to go to a premiere in the middle of the night or whatever, she went with them. Yeah. But we can see it hasn't harmed her. And she would come back and do her homework.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then, so she never lost touch with, priority. With Ibrahim, I remember when we went to, I think it was Patodi, and they were doing the Christmas tree and all that. And I was trying to be perfect and trying to put it in the right way, and Ibrahim was putting it all over the place. So, Saif said that, do you mind? I mean, it has to be participative, you know. I mean, so, like
Yes.
that. So I also learned that, you don't have to be perfect, but allow the children to grow at their own pace. So, and he's been really, really wonderful. I mean, even with Jay and Temur, he's
Yes.
a lot of fun,
Yes.
Yeah. Even through his accident and all that, I mean, he was very real with them. So I'm an observer, so I watch these things, and I find your generation is very good, really good.
What do you think, Sara, that you might have imbibed from Bhai, from Amrita? These are like
A lot, everything.
one thing.
I mean, on a bad day, you don't want to ask Amma or Abba because it's like, you're like your father, you're like your mother. And I'm like, guys, this is like bound to happen. Like, you study DNA, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm like my mom, and yes, I'm like my father.
called genetics.
Sorry.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
too much.
Yes.
It's not wonderful. It's really not wonderful.
Comment, yeah, wonderful observation. Oh.
I think I've inherited Abba's eclectic likes, guitar, French, not that I like the guitar or French, but I think that like just if we go to a city, just trying to have like a wholesome cultural experience and trying to just grow and imbibe as much as we can, I think that's something I get from Abba. Like even if we don't discuss films, every time I go there, he'll be reading a new book on the French Revolution or on something or the
He's
other.
reading 10 books at a time.
At the same time, yeah. Like Greek mythology.
Yes.
So I think that, eclectic interests is something that I've inherited from my father. And from mom, what have I inherited from mom? Staying real in a world where it's difficult to be that way. People are like, oh, you're so bindas, oh, you're so unfiltered. How are you like that? And I think that that's because of mom, I think that she's not at all watching her P's and Q's without she's not a rude person.
No.
But,
No.
she's like,
Real.
she's real, I think, in a world where people might go out of their way to try to overtly manicure you. I
Yes.
think that, we're manicured only on our hands. And that's it, it ends there.
Not at all.
So, yeah.
Because we're talking about legacy, and that was sort of the underpinning of today's podcast, I wanted to ask you whether you think at all about values that you would like to see passed down through generations, and that you would like to see stay intact with us and going forward with Sara and others.
Well, to me, extended family matters. I feel I would like you to keep in touch with your family, an extended family. I mean, you do, but I'm just saying that is important.
Yes.
As, us versus I. And we are a large family here and there, and it's not possible always. But it is nice to have a family, I think. Not just a nuclear family, but... So that's very important to me. And I want all of you to be mindful of that. Because I feel you derive a lot of... But now, that concept is disappearing from the main cities.
I just wanted to touch a little bit, which maybe in the edit we'll put in the past. Because of certain decisions, I feel like, in this whole conversation, Sara's also alluded to the fact that you, in many ways, have been ahead of your time. Even when I ask you, things that you might miss about the era of womanhood today, I feel like you experienced so much already. And perhaps you didn't face those challenges, or you wore them more lightly, those challenges. The question is, do you think that there was a cost that came with being so ahead of your times? And if there was, would you still pay that cost today?
No, I would pay that cost because, whatever I did out of conviction or because I was so young and I wanted to just have fun, So whatever reason, I think I probably will still do it. But I was pretty misunderstood when I came to Bombay. In Kolkata, I was G.N. Tagore's daughter. Everybody knew me, and there was a different kind of acceptance. But when I came here, because my mother couldn't chaperone me, and those days the heroines were chaperoned, they wore white. I was very different. I stayed alone in a hotel. So I became a kind of social suspect. And I know why the heroines stayed like that, because the films were frowned upon. And film, especially the women, obviously the men are always exempt from that. Counter that, they wore white, they wouldn't smile when they went out, they wouldn't laugh loudly or interact. So they protected themselves from these slurs. So I didn't fit into that. I did what I wanted. I wore hipsters. I dressed differently. I stayed alone in a hotel. So I became a kind of social suspect. So I got a lot of media backlash, and like I said, the social suspect. I mean, it took some time, and perhaps my engagement and my marriage, and then people sort of became a little quieter.
Something that I'm curious about, and we've spoken about sometimes, but the idea that you blend tradition with modernity, your spiritualism, your take on life in general, it's a balance, and it's different, and it is it's your personal choice in how you choose to live your life. But I wanted to understand where, again, that comes from. Because I feel like, in the family also, it's different. You're slightly different in that regard. So where does that come from, and what is that about?
I think it comes from the fact that I have multiple interests. It actually basically starts there. It started with the fact that I like traveling everywhere. Now, that includes Ujjain and that includes the Maldives.
Right.
So it just comes across as like, okay, what is this girl? But it's just somebody that's very curious. I think that more than anything, I'm curious for experiences. I celebrate all aspects of myself. As long as you're appropriate to where you are, I think that you don't have to choose one kind of way or one kind of life, or I'll only be modern or I'll only be traditional. There's so much, you have to move with times. I think modernity is almost a way to approach things. It's like, it's evolution, it's bound to happen. You live in a modern world, but I feel very rooted in the fact that I'm very aware of my roots. I'm very aware of the traditions that have been followed and that have been passed down generation to generation. So I think that it's just more than a curation of a balance. It's just been celebrating aspects of myself depending on where I am or what I am. Growing up, I would like to make these songs and these dance videos. Yeah. And then I went to Colombia, and then I, shot my first film in Kedarnath, and then Abba took me to Italy. And there's so much, experience. There's so much eclectic exposure that I don't really know who that one Sara is, and I don't think I need to.
No. Yes.
And that's why there is this, she's modern also, she's traditional also. I mean, she is both these things.
You've spoken about vulnerability. You've spoken, even in this conversation, you referred to anxiety and, rejection and things that we all go through. But I feel like perhaps also because of your generation, you're connected so much to your audience in a way that perhaps you were not connected to your audience. And we started that journey a little bit in my generation. But in terms of your anxiety, your vulnerability, like what drives you to be like that, to be open? And are there parts of that you keep and hold just to yourself?
Like I said, Soha Puppy, on a bad day, in general, what happens to me when I'm feeling low or anxious is like nothing is making you feel okay. That's what happens. You're like, So in that moment, if I put on a TV show that my mother likes, or if I buy Ibrahim something, I'm immediately happier. It goes on to even like if I go and help somebody, if I make somebody that I don't know smile. I think spreading positivity and goodwill, especially when you are down and out, it's not like that's why you do it, but it just somehow makes you feel better. When you can't help yourself, help somebody else, and you'll see them smile and you'll smile. Yes. Yeah. Like right now, I'm just saying something, you start smiling, I'm smiling. I'm not smiling because I'm talking about being anxious, right? Like I'm smiling because you're smiling. Yeah. And that's just the beauty of life sometimes. If you can't feel joy, just like make somebody you love feel joy, and if you really want to feel like benevolent joy, make somebody you don't love feel joy. Yeah. And that's just the way it is. And I think even being able to talk about it, I think that if even one person can benefit from the mind fry that I'll be feeling in that moment that I'm speaking about it, किसी का तो भला हो रहा है.
Right.
मैं तो अपना दिमाग का दही कर ही रही हूँ, आपको सुन के बेहतर लग रहा है तो very good.
Yeah.
मैंने कुछ अच्छा किया. Now even I'm feeling better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that is what it is more than anything.
Wonderful.
But that's nice. But that also comes with that sense of empathy and that connection,
Yes.
and that
Being
you're
able
not living.
to help someone if
but
you
also,
can't help yourself.
You're not living in an ivory tower. No? You understand that people, like somewhere deep down, everyone is the same. We have at least the same emotions.
For sure we do.
And that need to connect
And
with
that need to
somebody.
connect.
Yeah.
And sometimes all you need to hear is, listen, I've also felt this and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And who you hear it from is different. It could be a parent, it could be a role model, it could be an actor, it could be somebody with an Instagram following, it could be your manager, it could be anyone. You just need somebody to tell you that, listen, I've been through this and you're going to be fine. And if I can be that person, it'll be amazing because I need those people and
Yes.
life's a circle,
Yeah, and I think for me the most important thing to remember in any moment, whether it's joy or sadness, is
It
that
too shall pass.
It too shall pass. Nothing, everything is temporary.
It is.
And it's so important to just be in present, like in the present.
Hold on, yeah.
Yeah.
Since we talk about legacy, they're also physical, tangible things. So is there an heirloom from your past that you hold with great value that you might want to give me after this podcast is over, or Sara? A sari, a book, a piece of jewelry, something that holds...
I just want a shawl.
An
She has
emotional
lovely
value.
shawls.
She does.
Yeah. Can I have a shawl?
You most certainly can.
Promise?
But yes.
Will you write it
Can
down?
we have a
Can
new
we have
podcast,
yeah.
guys, where we behoove her to give me the shawl?
Yeah.
But seriously, my
So that was not serious.
Yeah.
my most
Prized.
dear possession is my grandmother's handwritten in Bengali recipe book. It's in a exercise book like that, but it's her handwritten recipe book. That's the dearest possession, and my puppy tried to eat it. So I was really heartbroken.
Archie?
Not Archie, Mishti.
Mishti.
The one
when
that
Mishti
came
was
before.
small.
Yes, and but I
You
managed
saved it.
to save it.
Very good.
So that's my.
Maybe you should keep it a little more in a safe place.
It was in a safe place,
Okay.
but anyway.
Okay. Is there something that you hold dearly to you, that is something that has been passed down to you, something that maybe you're looking forward to having? This shawl. Tell me more about this shawl. What color is it?
There's so many. Any is fine. I think that experiences more than anything. Experiences, stories, and just advice. I think those are important things because we've all, it's strange, but we've all kind of lived through such similar beats,
Yeah.
Not letting other voices get in your head and just staying strong to who you are. Whether I'm talking about my grandmother, my father, my mother, we've all been through this. People trying to tell us something, but just being sure of who you are.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the most important heirloom, really.
And I've seen you in Bhopalis.
Oh yes, you have.
So there is a sense of like, this is a part of my heritage, my culture,
Yes.
my tradition that I would like, because we don't see people in Bhopalis very
Yes,
often.
yes.
So that was something that you wanted to, that you
Yeah,
embraced.
I asked both of you
Yes.
to give me that dupatta. No, because I think that it's part of our culture, right? It's
Yes.
part of our heritage. It's part of who we are. You guys
And it's
wore
a
Bhopalis. It's a beautiful
dress.
silhouette.
Yeah, and we don't see it very
And we
much.
don't see it at all. So I actually really enjoyed doing it. I think the theme was also heritage. And I was like, yeah, I'd love
Yeah,
to do this
it was
and
lovely.
celebrate our
Yes.
heritage.
It was lovely, it was beautiful. Last question, if I may. If there's one memory that the three of us share, perhaps, I'm also thinking, that if we think about would still hopefully make us all smile. It's not like one person is smiling at the memory and the other person was like, it's a horrible day. Is there a memory
What
that
is
makes us
that?
all smile? I'm also thinking. I mean, we recently,
I think that recently
80th
Goa
birthday.
was very nice.
Yes.
Badi Amma's 80th
Yes.
birthday. And I felt like almost a feeling of like, I wish we could have done this more,
Yeah.
in life.
And we can.
And we should, we should then. But I think that was very special. I think playing those games. What was that game?
Yes.
Like just dumb shit.
No, there was some game you
No,
kept
no.
reading those 100 pages.
Oh God, we went on till like Kunal was
What was the
performing.
book
Kunal
called?
was
It was
so
just like, it
good.
was riddles for 7-year-olds.
It was not for 7-year-olds.
It was
There were like
riddles,
7 pages
But you
long.
were very good.
You were very
You
good.
had some answers.
Because I'm a little over 7, guys. So I think I managed.
But it was really a lot
It
of
was so
fun.
much fun.
Everybody laughed
was
and enjoyed
wholesome.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
that we should do it again.
Yes. And you had one memory when three of us were together.
Three of us were together. I'm not part of this memory.
No, you also.
It was your birthday.
But you said you were doing. You may want to, you may not want to.
You remember when Saif was not well for, I can't remember.
You have to specify.
Yeah,
We've been to the hospital a few times for
Yes.
different things.
This was some time ago.
Yes.
And he was in the hospital, I think for a couple of days. And Amit's father was not well. He was next door. So he had come to see Saif.
This is Mr. Bachchan.
Mr. Bachchan, yes.
For those of us who don't know, I mean, you said Amma.
And Sara started a conversation with him in chaste Hindi. Mr. Bachchan came and you took him on in Hindi and you started saying all kinds of things.
Do you remember what you
I don't
said?
remember.
I can't remember, but I do remember him being like, yeah, but that's not a word.
That's not a word.
What's not a word?
Finally.
I don't know, I was like first speaking some
Shuddh
intense
Hindi.
And then I tried to like make up a word. And he was like, no, wait 1 second, that's
Stop right
not
there.
true.
Yes. And then she still insisted. So I thought that was so
Conviction is
funny.
key.
Even Saif laughed. Yeah.
Even-
Despite his pain.
Despite me.
Yeah.
Despite. And he continues to. Yeah. So I thought we would play something called generational lingo because I feel like there might be words from your generation that we may really be confused by. And we should try and guess what they mean. And then similarly, you hit us with, and by hit I mean don't hit us. You hit us with some words and I'll do the same. And we'll try and decode each other's generational languages. Do you want to start? Like what did people say in the 60s?
Cat's whiskers.
Cat's whiskers means? Whiskers I know are like a safety net. Like it protects the cat from getting into danger.
I don't know the meaning. They're not.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Hi, Chotu.
But cat's whiskers means somebody thinks he's very special, right?
So that, yeah, he thinks he's the cat's whiskers. Yeah.
Okay, chalo.
Okay.
Or the retake. Huh?
No, it's done.
It's done now.
This is it.
You also didn't know.
You didn't know.
No.
No.
Okay.
Now you give one from your...
Ghosting?
Oh, I know ghosting. Do you know what ghosting
Yeah,
means?
ghosting is somebody, you don't reply to somebody.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. Now all these kids use ghosting, no? So.
Right. Oh, okay, well done. Scrub. Do you know what scrub means?
I don't want to talk about it here with you guys.
Not like... I don't know what you're thinking about. I really don't know what you're thinking about.
Hygiene.
No.
Scrub.
I don't want to know anything about you. I've cleaned you out of my life.
Oh, it's nice, but no. It's like a boy who has no money and has no ambition and is like a lost cause. Basically, he's a scrub.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah.
bichara.
Poor things. Okay. All right. Scrub.
Logo.
Okay. Square.
Chorus.
Thanks.
No.
It means. Please think of something.
I did.
Not square.
No, I know not squire.
Square.
Square.
A reference to a person. Like a square.
Give us a sentence.
Yeah, give us a sentence.
Come on.
He's
such
a
a
square.
square.
Wow, it really tells us a lot.
He's such a square.
He's such a
Yeah.
square. He's very like a scrub. Is it like your version of a scrub?
Boring.
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 Dull.
Oh, like such a common shape.
Yeah.
Just so
like
conventional.
square. Yeah.
That's
okay.
what I said.
Conventional.
Chorus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that what
Right.
chorus means? I don't
It
know.
means square.
Yeah, that's what I thought also. I was like, no, it's not. That's basically Hindi for square.
Well,
I thought.
usually works.
Okay, fly.
Cool.
Cool. Matlab you.
Do you know all these things?
You're
He's
cool.
flying. Yeah.
Yeah, like very
So,
fashionable.
right.
Very
Fly.
fashionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo.
Lit.
Lit. Do you know what lit means?
Again flying. I mean, again very, very cool. Very.
That's lit.
Yeah.
It means happening, right? Yeah, same
yeah,
thing.
Very
Like
happening.
trendy,
Yeah,
happening,
very
cool.
trendy. Yeah.
Okay, no, you're quite
You're
up
very
to date
good,
on
but
these things.
we known this at the beginning of the podcast
That
she's
she's very fly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
No,
And lit.
lit.
And not at all scrub.
Yeah, or square.
Okay, last one.
Bread. I mean, in our time, right?
I know.
Use the word.
Dosh.
Bread. Dosh.
You know dosh or bread means?
No.
Like just money.
Money.
Yeah. Therefore the breadwinner. The breadwinner.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Bread.
Yeah, like bread.
We like bread.
Yeah.
The non-fattening kind.
No gluten-free bread.
Yes. You need more bread for that,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. Talk to the hand. And I said it
Yeah.
without the actions because the actions.
The hand is
Yeah.
used. This is it. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yours?
Breadcrumbing.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's difficult.
And I don't mean like Hansel and Gretel.
No, matlab really
Like
The lowest
scraping
thing,
the
like
bottom
scraping
of
the
the
bottom.
barrel.
That's what I meant.
No, that's
No?
not what it means. It means like thoda thoda dena.
Oh,
I also recently learned.
really?
Say that again?
Like little thoda thoda dena.
No, what's in
Breadcrumbing.
breadcrumbing?
So, as
like
in
Hansel
like
and
I'm giving you a
Gretel.
little bit just to keep
Yeah.
you interested, but
Yes.
not so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel very
Breadcrumbing.
educated.
Yes.
Thank you for this very enlightening
Thank
conversation.
you.
So now, just briefly, I'm going to ask you, okay, like who's more likely to, and you guys have to answer. From within the family, not extended family, but like within immediate family, who's more likely to? And so who's more likely to steal the last piece of dessert and then pretend it wasn't them?
I think me.
I was going to say Sarah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that's exactly what you did in Goa. And you went to your room. And then you hid like the whole cake in your room as well. Forget about the last slice.
But you could also do it.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Perhaps, but
Close
Sarah,
second.
let's say Sarah.
Okay, Sarah.
Who gives better advice but never follows that advice themselves?
Sabha?
Appa?
Yeah,
She
maybe.
likes to give advice, but I think that she may not follow that her. I think it's a good.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a good. You said it. We didn't say it. You said it.
Yeah.
Who's the secret softie behind all the sass?
I think Abba.
I was going to say Bhai.
No, he's for sure a softie.
Saif.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has this
He'll say something,
exterior.
then he has a
Yeah.
kind of a meltdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a meltdown.
So he has like this brash exterior sometimes,
Yes.
but then he's got a
Soft heart.
underneath all of that. One thing about each other that the audience would be surprised to know. Bas.
Badi Amma likes to shop at West Side.
Yes.
I think that's
Yes.
pretty.
Yeah, I
don't
love
think
it.
people
I love
expect
it.
that.
Yes.
I think that's
Quite
where I
happy.
inherit a lot of my shopping nature from. Maybe.
Oh, yes, yes.
But yes.
Yours
I
is
go to
very
Mana.
eclectic indeed.
Yes.
One thing that we can say about Sarah that nobody knows.
She's a very loyal friend. She keeps in touch with her old friends.
I don't know why I feel like that's a criticism of me. Like Amma said, she keeps in touch with her. Something about me that nobody knows.
Fight with everybody if you don't get a chocolate cake in the afternoon. Is that
Everybody knows that. Yeah.
true? Okay, then.
I need my chocolate cake in the afternoon.
And?
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Oh, Inaya has something to say.
No,
What? You
what
can
is
say
that?
from- What?
What is that? Nobody knows.
It was something about you and me.
What?
You eat chocolate cake and all cupcakes every day.
I eat a chocolate cake I don't eat the whole cake.
Yes, we know.
I eat a slice of chocolate cake every single day.
But one day the dog ate your chocolate cake and she was almost throwing the dog out of the house.
No, I didn't, but I was very upset. All of this, like, it was very sad. It was a very sad day. Okay, anyway. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I feel like it was special. We meet a lot, not as often as I would like to, but I just feel like it's nice sometimes to have things recorded, documented.
Yes.
And we look after them a little bit more. We think about what we want to say. And, you know, those words are also something that stay. So it meant a lot to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. So I think what I really took away from this is that legacy isn't just what we leave behind. It's also, I think, just what we live on a daily basis. And it's been, I think, really important for me to see how each one of us, some of us are writing the story literally, like you, Amma, are writing your book, but we're really writing our own stories in our own way. So thank you, Amma, and thank you, Sarah, for all your time, and I think what has been a really wonderful conversation. I hope that today's episode leaves you as inspired as I am, and thank you all for watching another episode of All About Her. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and we will see you soon with hopefully another remarkable story. Until next time, stay informed, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.